In January of 1997, our next guest received the following note from her brother, accompanying a gift. To Valerie, my sister, my teacher, my friend, your faith lit the spark. Your work fired the flame. Your love made me believe again. With thanks, admiration, and love, Joe. That was Joe Biden's thank you note on the day that he was sworn in as a senator for the 5th time. The note was to his sister, Valerie, who was his campaign manager in his 1996 Senate re-election campaign, just as she had been his campaign manager in every other campaign that he ran. Valerie Biden was 26 years old when she ran her brother's first campaign for United States Senate. She now says, looking back on my track record, 50 years, 7 Senate campaigns, 1 county council race, 3 presidential elections, I can boil down what I know about how to run a successful campaign and an enduring candidacy into one simple idea. If you win the heart of the voter, the rest will follow. That is from the new book that tells the story of the most successful brother-sister act in the history of American politics. The book is Growing Up Biden, a memoir by Valerie Biden Owens. Doris Kearns Goodwin says, as future historians seek to understand the Biden family, there will be no better place to start than this intimate, warm, and beautifully written portrait. And John Meacham says, this is a book about love, laughter, and life itself. And joining us now is the campaign manager turned author, Valerie Biden Owens. Thank you very much for joining us for this discussion. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I go into this book thinking, well, I know them both. I know Joe Biden. I know Valerie Biden. I didn't know the half of it. I didn't know the 10% of it. This is such a revelation and such a full story, especially of you jumping into things that you apparently do not know how to do and then do very well. What's the trick of that?
It is the naivete of youth when I started in the campaign with Joe. And first of all, thank you, Lawrence. That was a beautiful introduction, and I hope it's taped so that I can send it to my brother. I think that would be important. The reason that we managed is that we didn't know any better. And when I was a young girl, as my brother would say, my Biden word of honor, my brother took me with him wherever he went. He's 3 years older than I. And he said, whatever he could do, I could do better. He said I was smarter than he was. I was kinder than he was, none of which was true. But he put such confidence in me that he made me believe that if he believed in me, that I wanted to work as hard as I could to be the young woman that he thought I could be. So we jumped into this campaign in 1972. We knew no one in power. We had no influence. We had no money, and we had no structured Democratic Party. But we had vision, hope, passion, creativity, and we had the best candidate in the state. And that's how we just continued a journey. From when I was a little girl, I was his sidekick, and he said, I'm running for Senate. And I thought, well, heck, if you could do it at 28 years old running for Senate, then I could be your campaign manager. And that's what we did.
I only was involved in 2 Senate campaigns, the last 2 re-election campaigns of Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, which were run campaign manager by his wife, Liz Moynihan. And what I found in that was that it was very valuable to have someone, a family member, someone close to the candidate like that, because it was like having the candidate in the room. Is that the way it worked on Biden campaigns?
Yeah. And it was, look, there are many extremely capable campaign managers or political scientists who are out there who have a PhD in running a campaign. I had a PhD in Joe Biden. So, and with that PhD, I knew 99% of the time what his answer would be. I wouldn't get it the same way. His was by Jesuit logic. Mine was mostly by instinct. But we came to the same conclusions. We had the same goal. And it was all about trust. So when I was the campaign manager, it wasn't mean that I was so brilliant. It meant that I knew my brother. He had complete trust in me, and he could go out and do what he could do best, which is listen to the voters, hear what they had to say, talk about his values, see how they could mesh together, and win the election. And he knew that everything back at the ranch, at the headquarters, was okay, because I had no agenda. I wasn't building a resume. I didn't want a new job. I was his sister, and it's about trusting each other from the time we were kids. So he got to do what he did best, which was to be the best Joe Biden there was.
You also have the advantage in a campaign like that of the ability and the power to sharply disagree with the candidate if necessary, and know that you're still going to be in that job tomorrow. What were the biggest disagreements you ever had with candidate Biden?
They were minor. I mean, the goal was always the same. And you're right. I mean, I'm a sister, so he can't fire me, and he can't disown me. So I'm there. The only disagreements I've ever had is sometimes in delivery. Always again, we were raised together. We had the same goals and same ideals. But sometimes I could say, but he would say to me, "Hey, Val, that was a little sharp," or did you really want to come on so strong? Or maybe you should have, emphasize this a little bit more. So it was only in degrees. We never had a disagreement on the goal and where we were going. Sometimes just in approach shots. And sometimes I have a weirder sense of humor than Joe. And he would say, "Hey, Val, that wasn't really so funny." Or I would say to him, "Hey, Joe, that was a little sharp." And he'd say, "Oh, yeah." Because you know what? The glory of having your family member that you trust and that you love is that you're not surrounded by sycophants. And that's a very tremendous disservice, to be surrounded by sycophants, because their job and their reputation depend on it. So you don't want to, you're going to go tell your boss that you think that they're doing this the wrong way. Only a profile in courage does that. So that's the advantage having a brother and sister team, or a husband and wife, or someone that you completely trust.
There's a passage in your book that, in its way, describes the stakes in the last presidential campaign when you're describing the candidate that your brother was running against this time, Donald Trump. It says about Donald Trump, "He had the mind not of a president, but of a vengeful dictator, and running against him felt almost degrading. To put this man on the same stage, in the same league as my brother, to present this guy as an alternative to Joe Biden was nauseating. As a sister and a citizen, I was appalled." Well, we now know in today's news that apparently he will not be on a presidential stage again, because Republicans have pulled out of the very concept of presidential debating. But that indicates that the stakes for you in that election could not have been greater in who you were trying to keep out of the White House for the next 4 years.
Yeah, there are two parts to that: the debate, which I'll get to, but in 2020 was the only election that I was not enthusiastic about Joe getting in, because I believed, and I was not disappointed in my expectations, that the former president would do anything he could to destroy my brother and my family, and to go after them. I believed that we would be a target, and we were. And I thought, gee, why, Joe? I mean, why? And Joe said to me after Charlottesville, he said, "Val, if I can't look in the mirror and walk away of who Joe Biden is, because I'm afraid of a bully." Remember, Joe, when he was a little kid, from the time he was a little kid, he stuttered terribly. He couldn't string more than 3 or 4 words together at a time. So he knows what it's like to be bullied and to be shunned and to be put in your place. And he said, "I am not walking away because of fear. I believe that I have something to say that meshes with the American values of restoring the soul of America, rebuilding the middle class and uniting us." And that's just what he did. There's no daylight between the private man and the public person in my brother. And as to the Republican National Committee announcing that it's not going to have a debate, well, I'm a campaign manager, and as you know, Lawrence, that if you don't want to debate, it's a sign that you're scared to debate. So I think it says it all in their walking away.
I could go on and on about this book. I have so many more questions. The book is Growing Up Biden. The author is Valerie Biden Owens. Thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate it. Thank you.